fantastic morning. We're going to embark on a bushwalk. I want to check the waterhole in front of the camp and see if maybe there's some fresh tracks, maybe some elephant or buffalo or something came to drink last night, and if we're lucky we can find some fresh tracks and try and follow up on the animals this morning. So join me on this very nice adventure on this lovely morning. So I'm just checking the wind. There's a little container with some powder in it. It gives a really good indication of the direction of the wind, and it's always good as a walking guide to make sure that you're 100% aware of what the wind is doing when, because you never know when you might come across an animal and then you quickly need to maneuver yourself into a position where you're downwind from the animal so that it doesn't know that you are there. That's one of your first lines of defense, very important. We're also quite lucky that the sun is behind us at the moment, so if we're going to be heading south-southwest this morning, we'll have the sun behind us most of the time. We're coming up to the dam here. Let's go have a look if there's some tracks. Imagine this place is very popular, especially in the winter. A lot of the water bodies in the dams dry up in the surrounding area, and then you have the waterhole that's still consistently got water like this. It's definitely going to be utilized by animals quite frequently, and this is what we're looking for. Notice down here you can see some very fresh elephant tracks. Looks like maybe one or two, maybe the same one, just going up and down around this water trough, maybe two. So you notice here, you see the fresh track there, and then you see some moisture here, kind of on top of the track, which really is indicating that he was playing around in the water here, obviously with the trunk, drinking. Some water drops from the mouth, falls on the ground, maybe throwing a little bit of water around to clean the water up. Elephants love clean water, and if they've got a choice, they'd always go for the clean water. And they like to clean the water with their trunk before they actually start drinking there. So this stuff looks very promising here, fresh enough for us to follow, and we may be fortunate enough to find them. So let's carry on from here, try and establish where they've gone, which direction, and then we'll start walking. So you can see there's a lot of activity here. It looks like maybe two. We'll see now. Yeah, there's two sets of tracks. So there's two bulls here. If you come this way, you basically see that one elephant's gone to the right here and the other one's gone to the left. So there's two sets of tracks here. They're roughly about the same size. Not very big elephants, not completely sub-adults, but maybe about 20 years old or so, if I can guess, just by looking at the size of the tracks. And I can see they're heading off in that direction, so as I mentioned earlier, in a kind of a southerly direction at the moment. scenery while we're tracking these elephant bulls. Notice two beautiful redwood trees here. They are white, the one is on the right. With the early morning sun on them, it just gives that beautiful colour. Very typical scene, long grass, leadwoods. The mopani is now colouring. Remember at the start when we were making videos, it was a lot more green. And one can clearly now starting to see the winter colours coming through, the oranges and the yellows of the mopani trees. Even the bush willows in the foreground here. Very pleasant morning to be out on foot. Let's carry on following these tracks. So obviously when you're tracking animals, it's crucial to understand how fresh the track actually is. And understanding the freshness of a track has a lot to do with experience. But there are small mechanisms and techniques that one can use to help you or aid in identifying just how old tracks are. And one of the ways is, if, let's say for argument's sake, you've got an elephant track and you've got a nocturnal bird or a nocturnal creature like a genet who's walked across the elephant track, you'd understand that it's not that fresh. But in this particular case, we've got the very fresh elephant track here, and it actually stood on top of this antlion larvae trail here, this little straight line. And usually antlion larvae print, or their trails print on top of the elephant track, which then would tell you that it's older than you think. This is nice to see as well. It's very common when you spend a lot of time in the bush, you often come across a place like this where the elephant has actually dragged his trunk. You can see that line or that mark, that scuff mark going forward. There's quite a lot of it, and it's very common for elephants to walk and take the tip of the trunk and drag it on the ground like that. So these tracks are very fresh. There's a good chance that we can find them. From this branch over here, obviously fed on, and then some of it falls down and lays on the ground there. And you can see these leaves are still moist, they haven't dried out yet. So this is a good indication that we're still on track and we're getting closer. So it's always good to understand your environment when you're walking in the bush. And if you've got a good basic knowledge of tracks, who they belong to and how fresh they are, it really helps a lot with managing your safety as well. So in this particular case, we're looking at a buffalo track here. So there's a single buffalo bull that's walked up along the road here. And that gives me a good indication of what I can expect in the area and what's ahead of us. So it's quite interesting what's happened here now is these two bulls have actually split. One's heading a little bit further south-southwest and the other one's gone southeast from here. It's quite unusual to see two bulls, especially that age and that size, to split up. Not impossible, but it's just unusual to see that. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick on the one bull's tracks, the one that's heading further south-southwest, and then see if we can find him. We also stumbled onto some relatively fresh rhino tracks while we're busy with this elephant bull. I'd like to show the track because it's quite an interesting shape. So you'd notice here, it's got a very big toe in the front. This always indicates the direction. It's heading in that way. And then it's got two toes, one on either side of the foot. And then at the back there, a very distinct W. So it's a really nice track. Obviously see which direction it goes when you understand the configuration of the toes. Got onto the road here. That bull that we're following crossed just behind there, but we're just looking. The road obviously delivers a lot of nice tracks to look at because it's a clear area. We've got some beautiful, interesting tracks here. For instance, we've got some hyena track over here. Janet, that's always a nice track to see. So this small little track here almost superficially resembles a miniature leopard track. One of the ways to try and remember it. And there's some wildebeest and also some zebra that have walked here. Located this elephant that we've been tracking the whole morning. I'm going to try and see if I can get in and out, get you a little bit closer. So let's just have a look, let's just go. See some more elephants here. Let's go this way. Or the one that we followed joined up with some others. You'll notice this one here. Across the road in front of us here. Completely unaware of us, which is amazing. We've got the wind in our favor. Stand here, we'll stand quietly here and just wait for it to cross the road there, just in front of us. Notice you pan to the right there a little bit, you'll see the other one. That's the younger bull whose tracks we were following the whole morning. Okay, the other one's coming across the road. There might be a little bit of politics there now. As the bigger bull approaches the young one there, he might push him out of the way. Let's have a look there. Or he's just going to go past. No problem. Yeah, there we go. Gets a little nudge from the older one. Let's see if we can go a little bit closer. There's another elephant just ahead of that bull, so it looks like a cow. Definitely the angular forehead. So we've actually walked ourselves into a little group here. This young bull joined up with this herd that had the older bull already in it. Oh, this is fantastic. Alright, so we're not going to I don't want to disturb them, so we're slowly going to start backing out and moving back towards where we came from so that we can get away from them here.